go.
Welcome to MCpodcast, aka Men of Culture Podcast. And in this video today, we're talking about, is SAO overrated or overhated? Anyways, make sure you go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. We're getting right into it right now.
In my opinion, SAO's gotta be one of the most overhated animes I've seen, ever. Yes, it has some plot holes. Yes, it's got some, changes throughout the show. Of course, they can't have that in-game life forever. It's limited, so they had to do something to change it. Alright, I get it's redundant. There's some good things about the show. I'm not gonna lie. Alicization, for example.
Pretty fire.
Pretty fire for what it was. It's also a continuation of they're dropping movies and stuff. But throughout almost all these animes that I've seen, this is one of the most locally hated animes I've ever seen. It's just the hate on it. I never see someone go out of their way and say I love SAO. Without anybody kind of counteracting that argument.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I would say this. Initially, when it came out, SEO was
goated.
Was goated, but also a little bit overrated.
Yeah, I can't lie.
People were glazing it. But then as it got, I guess, I don't want to say worse and worse, I guess.
Worse than worse than better than worse.
First of all, the fairy arc, Gun Gale, let's be honest, that was really bad. And plus, they had some scenes that were not favorable to anybody. So it became overrated, and then slowly but surely, I think Alicization was really good. I really liked it a lot. It was pretty fire, and Progressive is a pretty good movie as well. It definitely has become overhated over time, and I definitely would agree with Tanner and say at this point it is overhated. Alicization is definitely good. The characters are from Alicization in the underworld are really, really great. All of them. I think the main problem with SAO is that the main cast is so bad it makes it makes you hate them even more.
I think it's that and the fact that no matter what, nobody can get past the initial point of them fucking up and doing these shitty follow-ups, the fairy arc and Gun Gale, so people don't want to give that later on seasoning a chance just because the ones that were there didn't present you that opportunity to be this is enjoyable, this is something I want to see more of. So I think it's tough that not everybody sees it, which makes it overhated, but I could definitely see the one point how it was overrated. I mean, that kind of set the tone for isekais for a lot of other animes and anime creation and mangas and everything, so it definitely set a point and changed a lot of shit from then on. But I think the execution was the part where they messed up on. I think people were expecting a lot more out of this just because of how serious and how real it felt, that original 12 episodes. And you kind of got stripped away from that feeling you held on throughout that entire show when it was kind of just it's not over yet. So there's a lot of stuff that really leaves you at a blank where I feel yes, it can be hated on in some aspects, but it's not entirely bad.
Yeah, it's by no means. I think SEO is a bad anime. I think it has a lot of bad moments, definitely for sure. But it's also one of the first precursors to isekai, basically. So obviously it's having bumps and bruises.
It's the grandfather, bro.
Yeah, and Progressive, SEO Progressive is definitely they go a lot more in depth on the whole world of the Aincrad world that they were in. So I definitely think if you want that, looking for more of a progressive and going up the towers, that's a lot better and does a better depiction overall. So I definitely would recommend you watching that. Like I said, the later stuff of SAO is definitely a lot better and more enjoyable to watch. So I definitely do think at this point it is overhated, but I would agree at one point or another it was definitely overhated.
I think, honestly, the one valid thing I see in the hate is that you could have applied so much more time in that, false reality. I know their bodies were being kept alive, so that's harder to put in perspective and make that more real. But it's they could have spent longer, I feel in the SAO part. You didn't have to rush to, okay, this is the final boss type shit. This is where we're going. The key points were hit. It's just you could have spent more time doing that in the process.
Honestly speaking, I think
you could start off at 4-1, but by the time we got to know them, he was already on the front lines, fucking popping off. It could have given more background and more foreground to what his reasoning and why he's doing it. And then it would have meant, I feel the Christmas episode more real because he's seen and lost people, and this is just another person a part of that.
That is true. I think the Christmas episode could have been even more sadder
If he had more depth,
more
to, like,
time. Yeah, I think honestly,
or more time with her. Yeah.
If I would be honest, if they were to redo SEO, I definitely think it should have been 24 episodes, at least.
I think they could have done so much with it, bro. Like, that had so much potential with, like, the world building on it, the skills, the personal, like...
They could have stayed in the Ironclad world for so long, honestly. They could have really low-key milked the shit out of that.
But it was supposed to be a story, I guess, of Asuna, him, and, you know, the development of all that.
Honestly speaking, I think...
That part of the story was really good.
Yeah, but I think they focused too much on the whole lovey-dovey stuff that it overshadowed.
Well, they had to take away from that world. Like, that was reality in that world, and they were kind of breaking away from that.
But it also took away from the whole, like, if they would have, first of all, they did a great job at emphasizing you die in a game, you die in real life.
Yes.
So there was, stakes. But if they did an emphasis on, from that point forward, how hard it was to survive in doing these things every day and climbing the tower, trying to beat the game, and they emphasized how hard it was and how people were dying every single day, it would have been more, like, they emphasized it, but they just said,
you didn't see a lot of it,
You didn't see enough of it to really emphasize with it.
Like, you understood that rule, and then there was reinforcement with the killing of other people, like people jumping off the map and shit. The map is crazy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, and then Kirito having the Christmas thing happen to
exactly. So it's like, it is touched upon, but I feel like you could have brought it forth in more of like this is so serious. Like, this isn't just happening to people that are slowly introduced to the story. This is happening all the time.
Yes.
So that puts that in with a better perspective. Along with, you could have done so much with Ironclad. Like, you know how many monsters, boss fights, fucking raids, twists and turns, like so many betrayals and shit. Like, you could have thrown so much shit in there, especially with the raid at the end. Imagine you spent 24 episodes with the fucking guy as the leader.
Yeah.
And then you find out through like small betrayal.
Yeah, that would have been so fun.
So much more impactful. And we're like, when you go through the show and you're not like gasp, and you're like not like utterly surprised just because you don't know that character well enough to be like, oh, that's not him. Like, you know, like he was in the foreground, but it could be speculated as something like, yeah, I don't know. They could have done a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, really, actually, honestly speaking, they really could have really cooked with SAO like crazy. Like, the first part of it, you could have said F the fairy part.
Yeah, really just like, why don't even try to get to real life? Just focus on that game and surviving.
Yeah, surviving.
Because that's what it switches from. It switches from you're in real life and now you have to survive here.
Yeah.
So you have to be more on that, I think. But.
And then they should have just X'd out the fairy arc, which was really bad. I still don't understand why they did that.
That was crazy.
And that sister, that stuff was weird.
I don't know why they threw in a lot of this, but I think it's the culture shock part of it.
No, it wasn't culture shock.
I think it's his fucking second cousin.
Culture. Japanese culture.
Yeah, I know. Culture shock. We're culture shock, man. It's just the way it is.
And they love those, scenes.
Yeah.
Gun Gale, that was...
Okay, Gun Gale, to be honest with you, it had the plot, plot holes.
It was the dumbest. I think it was probably the worst iteration.
I think it was trying to... I legit feel like this studio and these people that created this have good storytelling.
No, Gun Gale was just dumb.
No, I think they have good storytelling. Just the execution of putting it in the anime and continuing using Kirito as like a story point. I think if you have that good storytelling, just make something that has similarities and just do something else with it.
Okay,
rather than continuing multiple verses and different not timelines, but different events of what he did.
That's not right. They keep it a stack. This is what made SEO great. Made the first part of SEO 24 episodes. Is it dead?
No.
What's it called? Make a listenization right after that, and then you can do whatever else you want.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair. I feel like as a whole, SAO is definitely overhated, but there's definitely a lot to say. You have a lot to say about it, even if you watch it.
Yeah, so we agree with that. Make sure you go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. SEO is unfortunately overhated at this point, so don't hate on it too much. Give it some grace, or rewatch the show.
And hate the second part.
Yes, and hate the second part for sure. And Gun Gale. That's just so dumb.
The only part that was good was when he actually whooped that dude's ass at the end. That's the only part that was good.
That was pretty ass too.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
Anyways, James 112.
We out.
We out.